Being smart is one of the main reasons you don't trust yourself. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because you've learned to rely on your thinking more than anything else. And I want to walk you through how this actually works, because this shows up as overthinking, needing proof, and not moving until everything makes sense. So we're going to look at why that happens, what it's covering up, and what changes when you stop trying to think your way into clarity. So if you're someone who's good at thinking things through, this is probably going to sound very familiar. You can see all the angles, you can anticipate outcomes, and you can make things make sense. And that works in a lot of areas. So it becomes your default. But when it comes to decisions like what to do next, what direction to go in, what's actually right for you, what's for dinner, thinking doesn't always get you there, because clarity in those moments usually doesn't show up as a fully formed explanation. It just shows up as something simpler, something quieter, and way easier to override. So what happens? You get a signal. Something feels right or not right. And instead of moving, the hamster wheel starts going. You start thinking, and this tends to come from someone that told you early on, you should think about that first. So you run scenarios, you weigh options, you try to make it make sense. And the longer you stay there, the further you get from that original signal. And now you're not responding anymore. You're building a decision. So then there's proof. This need to know. Is it the right decision? Is this ever going to work? And can I justify this? So you start looking for evidence, for other people's experiences, results, validation. And again, it all feels responsible, but most of the time, you're not actually looking for information. You're just trying to remove the risk. And you're trying to make the decision feel guaranteed. And that's not something you're ever going to get. So underneath all of this is safety. And your system is trying to protect you from making the wrong move. So it slows you down, and it keeps you thinking, and it keeps you evaluating. Because as long as you're still deciding, you haven't taken a risk yet. But that also means you haven't moved. And over time, that starts to feel like being stuck, not because you don't know what to do, but because you're not trusting yourself enough to actually do it. I do this all the time, and I see this with people who are very capable. They can figure anything out. They can solve problems. They can build things. They can make things work. And that's exactly why this gets missed. Because from the outside, it looks like they just need more time to decide. But when you take a moment, you already know. You just don't trust that knowing without being able to explain it first. So if this is how you've been making decisions, thinking it through, trying to get it right, waiting until it makes complete sense, that's something we can shift. There's a link below where you can apply to work with me, where we'll look at how you're making decisions right now, where you're getting stuck in your head, and what to actually trust instead, so that you can move without needing everything to make sense first.